I'm Jennifer Bryan, joined by Marissa Blanco and Emily Dombrowski in the car over here, along with Georgia on the floorboard. We're in the Target parking lot. Why? Well, Marissa is going to assess Emily and Georgia on a public access test, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And this is part of it, getting the dog out of the car, right?
It absolutely is.
Okay.
So what a public access test means is we're looking at all the different components that a dog is going to need to do with their handler when they're out in the world as a working service dog.
Okay, so Georgia's training to be a service dog.
She is, yes.
Okay, you've got a clipboard full of things that she's going to do,
I do.
throughout this.
So it's a lot of skills that have to be accomplished in order to essentially pass this test so they can move on to become a service dog.
Okay, Marissa doesn't have a mic on. She doesn't have a mic on, so repeat that for us.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot of the skills that are listed on there are things that we're incorporating into training sessions from puppyhood on, especially once the dogs are in a formal training program and we kind of know the career path they're going to. But the basics of what we're looking for here is that the dog has desirable behavior in public. They're not a disruption, they're well behaved, they're engaged with their handler, and they're not causing any type of issue for a client being able to bring the dog to all sorts of different public places.
Okay, she's adorable.
She's
got her
very
chin
cute.
resting on the edge of the car there. She's like, okay, so just you're telling her to stay.
I'm telling her to stay. We're looking for some controlled exit from this vehicle.
Okay.
I want to make sure I have her leash in hand, that we're all situated. We are in a public space. There's cars coming and going, so we want to make sure this is nice and controlled. We do a lot of work on reinforcing our dogs for waiting patiently, especially when doorways open.
Right. Okay.
Good girl, Georgia. Oh. Georgia. Yes, good girl. She's a very happy social girl, so this is excellent practice and distraction around other people as well. Good girl. What we're looking for and what Marissa's going to be looking for right now is just Georgia's general comfort in this setting. So being around traffic especially, we'll seek out locations where we hear loud buses and trucks and public transit, but in general we're looking that she can be comfortable in a shopping center parking
Okay.
lot.
And with the loud buggy going by, right?
Absolutely. So we're going to bring this, we're going to bring the shopping cart inside with us. We want to make sure she's comfortable walking next to it. The movement of the cart, the noise of it is not turning her off in any way or making her fearful.
Okay, well let's get inside.
Let's go.
Everybody loves to look.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse to train at Target so often because you sometimes buy things that you wouldn't have otherwise, but it's a really wonderful place to expose these dogs to all sorts of different training opportunities.
And at times, Emily has to reiterate what I'm saying, but right now what she's looking for is a nice, loose heel, making sure the dog isn't forking ahead, also aware of kind of where the wheels are, as well as sometimes we get run over, but essentially just being well-mannered and in control with the cart, and making sure she has no adverse reaction to it as well.
Okay.
Nice job.
So that was
No, she's doing quite well with that. Now she has a few of her playmates right over here. So another component of the test is dog distraction. So we'll use those other program dogs in training. Sometimes we run into puppy raisers. Most of our training staff has dogs that are non-Labradors as well. So there's some novelty there that we'll often bring out during a public access test. But we run through these different components really often with them in training where we can reinforce these different behaviors so that when they're placed, they can do it with or without that continuous food reinforcement, but we're still going to let them know they're doing a good job with lots of praise, lots of petting, and in this case, at this stage of training, she's still getting ample food rewards to let her know she's on the right track and doing the right thing.
got it.
Good girl, Georgia. Yes, good girl. All right, I am going to pass the cart to Marissa, and just to practice a stay, we're also looking for comfort. Can she stay in position while that cart moves around her? So I'm going to just use our open space over here. Good girl. Let's go, Georgia. Nice job. Good girl, Georgia. Yes. She has the cutest little hop to heel. Georgia, sit. Stay.
So I'm going to circle around Emily. Would you like once or twice?
Let's do twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good girl, Georgia. Really nice. The other great thing about training in public is we have all sorts of real life distractions happening all around us at all times. So we as trainers and instructors are always ready to adjust accordingly. You know, someone else showed up with a dog all of a sudden, or a squirrel ran
Georgia into the store. So
Controlled entrance and stuff. So I'm just repeating you.
All right.
It's not picking you up.
Absolutely. So we're looking for that she isn't pulling my arm off as we walk through the entryway of the store.
okay.
Thank you all. Okay, let's go. Nice job, Georgia. So if she's forging ahead a little bit, we're just going to set here.
Okay.
Nice job, Georgia. Yeah. Nice. Let's go. Absolutely. And it's fine if she's a stride or two in front of me. We just want that leash to be nice and loose and relaxed. Good girl. Yes. Nice job, Georgia. Yeah.
And abstraction galore, right?
Yeah.
So the next thing we can do is leash walking, but changing paces. So Emily would be maybe starting off faster or slower. Dog should kind of slow or speed up with her as well.
Yeah.
But remain controlled and not forging and pulling ahead.
Georgia. We're looking for just some nice control as a team and a nice loose leash. Ready? Let's go. So good. Good girl, Georgia. Good girl. Yeah. I know you're not sure who you're with. Good job. There we go. Nice job, Georgia. What a good girl. Yes. So I'm going to occasionally reinforce her for hanging out at my side. We'll do some turns down the aisle. Does that work for you?
Perfect.
It's so confusing. Even I'm confused. I don't know where to go. Okay, so we have a person ahead of us. Let's see how she does.
And dropped on the floor.
Good. Oh yeah, real life food distraction.
Okay, why did you just turn around right there?
I turned around just to reset her.
Okay.
We can definitely get out of your way if we're in the way. But we're all around all sorts of delicious smelling bread. Georgia heel. And Georgia was doing just a little bit of pulling forward, just kind of interested in those smells. So I want her to realize that pulling forward doesn't get her closer to it. If she kind of hangs out with me and maintains that nice loose leash, yes, she's going to get a lot of positive feedback for doing so.
Got it. Okay.
Good girl.
So essentially, Emily is way more exciting, or should be, than the bread or anything around this aisle.
I tried.
She is.
Georgia, good girl. Do you want to move to do some of our stays in our recall?
Whatever
We'll go down to
location
the
you want,
next
we can
aisle.
do a sit, stay, and a down stay where you can walk around.
Okay, so sit, stay, and down stay are the next ones that we're going to do.
That's the peanut butter right there, too.
I know.
Yes,
Thank you.
which they are familiar with.
Georgia. Oh, Georgia, stay.
Has Georgia been to Target before?
Stay. She has. This is not her first time in Target. It's been a little while though since she's been to this specific location.
Okay, this is the loose leash stay, right?
Let us sit, stay, walk around, and then I believe we're going to do down, stay, walk around as well.
All of this is dog.
Georgia down.
Remains position. So Emily asked her to sit. You want to be able to walk all the way around them to make sure that they're not moving. Obviously, like Emily said, if their head is turned, that is completely okay. As long as they're focused and they're okay doing this. So this is kind of part of our basic space as well. We're going to do this when clients and applicants come in, and it's something that we try and make a routine every day.
Awesome. She did, yeah. So we want her to maintain that position until told to move or otherwise. If we maybe go down the next open aisle, we can do the same standstill.
Okay.
All right, Georgia, heel. Nice job. I know.
Swings her tail end around.
Good girl. Very nice. Leave it. No canned goods for you, Georgia. Good girl. I know. So many smells and sensations here in the grocery store. Georgia, heel. Good girl. Georgia, sit. So, we're going to practice the stand stay behavior as a component of this assessment. This is actually one of our skills that we'll use with our service dogs in many cases. If we're placing a dog with a veteran that maybe has been self-isolating due to symptoms of PTSD, maybe having a dog by your side is going to make you more comfortable in those public settings. So for stand, stay, stand, stay. Good girl. It's going to allow me to have a little bit of a space buffer as I'm shopping.
Gotcha.
So I can position her where I need her to be. I could stand here and have someone come up to have a conversation. It's definitely nice when I'm shopping or checking out. We want her feet staying nice and still until she's given that same word, B-R-E-A-K. Good girl.
Okay.
Break. Yeah. Nice job, Georgia.
She barely knows.
So she keeps get you a barrier so nobody, so
Absolutely.
you don't feel like
Yeah.
a lot of our veterans get
Good.
comfortable in situations like that. So
You got it. Stand.
good.
Stay. I could put her in front of my body. We could have a conversation. We can even pair that person walking up as the cue for the dog to move in front, just to create a little bit of space
Yeah.
and be that bridge to communication.
I mean, everybody likes their personal space.
Yeah, and it's easy to stay more grounded in the moment when you have a dog this cute staring up at you with those big brown eyes
Yeah.
while they're in that stand. Stay. Good. Stay. Nice. All right, what do we have next, Marissa?
All right, so we can do food refusal, recall, or we can do stand stay right now for approach if you would like, if we're already doing this.
Yeah, let's do that.
You want to do that one next?
Yeah, good girl. Break.
Okay, what's approach?
Good. What we were just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just adding the components of having Marissa approach me or someone approach me to have a conversation. Stand. Good. Stay. You're so little. Just focus. You said you stay.
So the goal is, it's okay if she looks at me, but focus should be back on Emily, no soliciting towards me. And I'm gonna come up and just say hello to Emily, and then I'll probably just back away. Hi, how are you?
Oh, we're gonna reset that one. Georgia, yeah. So you can see Georgia knows who Marissa is, so that was a big social distraction.
More
So
challenging.
it's no big deal. This is training. Like, this is what we do, right? Is you test different things the dog has learned. You'll rework them if they need it. Georgia, sit. Good girl. Georgia, stand. Good. Stay. Very nice. I want to make sure she's nice and locked in there. She isn't moving those front feet at all. And then I'm going to have Marissa stop just like an extra 6 inches beforehand,
Okay.
so that she can make that choice to ignore the person approaching and focus on me instead.
All right.
All right, let's see what she's got. Stay. Very nice. Much better. You can approach again. All right. Good girl. Hello. Well done. That's what we want to see. Very nice, Georgia.
Sorry, I just saw a friend of mine.
Great. It's a small world. Yeah, that was excellent. What a good girl.
Right.
All right.
So next thing is, depending on where we want to do this, we still are going to have food refusal.
Perfect.
We've had some, but we'll
Yes. Refusing the candidates.
we can do recall.
Close.
So if we want to go down into her aisle, whatever you
Good
would like,
job.
Emily, for recall.
Let's do food refusal while
Okay.
we're here. I think that's a good opportunity.
So
to
I
do it.
have some really stinky yummy kibble. Some higher value than not. So I'm going to just kind of drop
Down.
some around once Emily is ready.
So you're actually putting her treats
Say.
that she normally can have on the ground, and she's going to have to not take them.
Ignore
That's
that.
accurate. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's dog food, there's treats. We'll often do this with tempting human food, potato
Yeah,
chips, goldfish, crumbs, you name it. But
How tempting is that for dogs?
yeah,
Wow.
very much so. I mean, they process the world through smell. You can see that nose is going. We've got our meat counter right behind where the camera is
Right.
here. So definitely a lot of smells, but they're reinforced very heavily for choosing their person over all of those temptations in the environment. Good girl.
You ready?
Ready. I'm ready.
Try
Good.
not to throw right in front of her.
Leave
Sometimes
it.
it's like,
Good girl. I don't think she even saw that one. Stay. Leave it. Good girl. You may have to step over here. Leave it.
Oh.
Good girl. Now, ideally, good job, Georgia. Ideally, she offers it on her own. That one kind of came really close. And
Yeah.
so me as her handler, even though she's very well versed, I know now you see the one touching you. Good girl.
Oh, that was good.
She's very well versed at leaving things alone. It's also my responsibility as her handler to keep her safe. If that was something potentially dangerous towards a dog or something like a dropped pill, I'm going to make sure that I'm not allowing it to happen where she gets all the way to it. But we really want it to be a voluntary thing where she's learned, yes, you can see she'll look at that food and choose to disengage and look back at me instead for a reward of ideally equal or greater value. Touch. Yes, good girl. And then we'll take it to the next level. And Marissa, if you want to scatter a few more, we're going to try to walk over it. Good job, Georgia.
Right.
Nice. Yes. Absolutely. I think we have a crown Frenchio down
you can
there.
notice, like, she'll look at it, but she looks back to Emily.
Good job.
Emily is
Let's
more
go.
important. That's where she's going to get it. Her feedback and her
Yes.
reward.
Wow, what a good girl.
Very impressive.
You start to learn just how many crumbs are on the floor in the real world when you handle a service dog. Heel. Good girl. Let's go.
Like, I just stepped
Yes.
right
Oh,
over.
yeah. Good girl. Such
Very
concentration.
good.
So again, totally normal for her to see the food that's down there. Smell it. They're gonna be aware of their environment. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And these are Labradors, so they're very food motivated. And we use that to our advantage in training, but it can be a blessing and a curse depending on how you look at it. Oh, appreciate that.
Okay, what's next?
All right, so we can do recall.
Perfect.
And then noise reaction.
Okay.
So recall and noise reaction are next on our list.
Excellent. So we are in a relatively controlled setting right here. So I'm going to tuck this under her collar and step just a little bit away from her.
Where should I go?
Right where you are is fine. It honestly poses for a good social distraction. And actually, since we have so much activity going in front and in back of us, she certainly could come to me off the leash. But since we are in a public setting, just for safety and to meet leash laws, I'm going to keep this leash attached. I'll just extend it out. But we're going to do a couple distractions first and make sure she can stay until she's called. So her recall cue is her name and the word C-O-M-E.
Okay.
All right. So would you like to say a couple things that sound like Georgia but aren't Georgia?
I know.
Or creative.
Apple
Some sort of
juice,
creative
orange juice.
distraction.
OJ. Cranberry.
That does not sound like
No.
Georgia.
Georgia, I'm trying to think of what other names
Yes,
rhyme.
good. Nice job. We didn't script that ahead of time.
No, usually the other
Good
dog I have,
girl.
like, oh, we have nicknames that
Yes.
sound similar. She did good.
Yeah, you can see
Orange
how she
juice
really
is kind
waited.
of, between that.
Waited patiently for her cue, and that's exactly what we want to see. I'm also pleased that even though there's a little temptation with all the food and the people around, she's continually choosing to re-engage with me as opposed to the environment.
Even with the camera there, she's
Yeah.
doing really good.
Yes,
like
Megan
keeping
is
her
behind the
focus.
camera.
Yes.
Getting down low like this. All sorts
Yes,
of
what a good girl.
So we still have noise. We're gonna have close that chair or bench. that
Okay.
we would probably do for the Starbucks
pharmacy.
or the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And we can do hug there as well, and also sit for petting. And then we have supervised separation.
Lovely.
If you want to
Okay.
add that as well. That was
Oh,
a very good
Noise reaction as
right?
well.
Oh, yes.
Let's go. All right, so we'll do some leash walking over towards our pharmacy. At some point, Marissa is going to create a loud noise, and we just want to see that Georgia recovers quickly from it. It's normal to notice that there's a loud noise, but we want to make sure that our service dogs really are resilient in public. If something happens, it's a little alarming, it's okay to notice it, but we want them to be relaxed about it and not think that that's an overly scary event. Gotcha. Good job. Let's go.
But recovered.
Yeah,
So that's
sure
ultimately what we want.
That was a very quick recovery.
We're looking for a bench here. Good girl. Yeah, you can tell that she doesn't really have what we would call noise sensitivity.
Right.
She's very relaxed about hearing that noise and then just continuing on her way. Good girl, Georgia. Good girl.
So next, Emily is going to demonstrate what close is for us. Okay.
Yes.
She likes that one.
That's
She
very
does.
pretty.
That was
Very
a
good.
very nice
She does
close.
everything with a little bit of flair, this one. Good girl. So this is a really functional position. Our puppy raisers actually start teaching this from an early age in most cases. You can see if I were in a waiting room and I didn't want her out in the aisle where people could potentially step on her or trip over her, this is a nice way to keep her rear end underneath what I'm sitting on to keep her safe. We also find this is a really nice, just kind of mutually beneficial grounding position. If you're out with your service dog, you can reach down and rub their ears, get a little bit of support. You can get, she was looking up at me earlier, yes, you can connect in a really meaningful way. Georgia, down. And then we can also cue it down where she tucks under really nicely. And I continue to be amazed at these really large dogs, how they're able to fit in such small, tiny spaces.
Yeah, this is great for traveling on planes.
You got it. Yeah, exactly.
All right, next we can do hug from here.
All right. Hug
One
is
of the
everyone's
favorites.
favorite. Yes. So, depending on what a client's needs are, most of our service dog handlers rely on their dogs for a lot of deep pressure therapy. So something like laying across a person's lap and staying there, maybe after interrupting a nightmare, maybe in a waiting room at a VA or a hospital, something like that, or just as a mutual way to enjoy your dog. Georgia.
Does the hug sort of help calm anxiety for somebody?
Yeah, that's the idea. Good girl. So all of these dogs tend to be very affectionate, but we train a hug where it's a very specific cue. Hug. That, oh, you got it.
There's her hop again.
I know, it's a little slippery. Good girl. So I want her, thank you. The kisses are extra credit. Nice job, Georgia. But I want her on that double tap cue to come and drape her whole body across me and stay there with some pressure. Like I can really feel her leaning down.
You can see even her elbows, like she's in a comfortable spot where she's really like.
I've had Georgia fall asleep in this position during a meeting.
Oh,
Believe it or not, when she had a little bit more traction. Our service dog handlers might be sitting on a couch, on a bed, even on the floor, and ask for the same type of dog draping their body over them. And I want her to stay there. She's doing a great job. I'm making it nice and attractive with all the massaging. Good girl. Off until she gets off you. Good job. Good. Enthusiastic. Oh, thank you. You're such a good girl. Off. All right, Marissa, what do we have next?
We still have sit for petting.
Okay, excellent.
And then drop leash and maintain control.
Perfect. Since we're here and she offered it and it's cute, I also want to show her chin behavior. So as cute as it is, it's not always convenient to have a Labrador in your lap licking your face, right? So we also do some more discreet grounding behaviors that can start to become an interruption for anxiety. So something like chin, where she can just rest her chin on my leg.
Sticks her face on you. How cute is that?
Good girl. And what I really enjoy about Georgia is you can tell she's enthusiastic about learning these things because watch her tail when she's off.
I'm feeling her tail.
Yeah. Yeah. Multi-sensory experience. Chin. You can see it kind of increases. Yes. Good girl. She knows how to win the game. Yeah, I can really feel her pushing down there. Nice job, Georgia. All right, we're going to do sitting for petting. Now, in this case, it's standard process that service dogs shouldn't be pet. Right? The general public should be ignoring them. It helps maintain focus on their handler and the job that they're doing. But we live in the real world. There are times that maybe a well-meaning stranger comes over and reaches a hand out to pet. We want to make sure that the dog can maintain control, especially a really social dog like Georgia. We want to make sure that we're training her that if someone does reach out to touch you, you're not jumping up to lick their face.
Right.
You're maintaining that control, focusing on your handler. So sometimes, depending on the dog, that's something we really have to work through. I'm going to put her on the carpet so she has a little traction on this slippery linoleum floor. Touch. Yes. Good girl. Nice job, Georgia.
So the touch that you did with her nose, is that just directing her where you want her to go?
Yeah, that's sometimes called a hand touch. It's also called a target. So we use the concept of targeting or touching things a lot in training. With our guide dogs, it can be used to find a door or a chair. For service dogs, that might be how we start to teach them to retrieve items, driving towards the person's hand. In that context, I was using it as just a refocus. We were going through kind of a narrow space. I'm sure this carpet smells good to a dog. Who knows what has been on this carpet?
Yeah.
So instead of allowing her to reach down and start to sniff, I asked for the hand touch instead. Touch. Oh, almost. Yes, good girl. It's a nice way to just refocus her attention, and we use it a lot for what we call engagement with the handler.
Gotcha.
Nice, Georgia. Touch. Yes, good girl. She adds a lick in. Again, extra credit. Yeah. Good girl. Georgia, heel. Okay. Very nice. Stay. All right, so we're going to do that petting exercise where someone kind of approaches from the side and just reaches a hand out to scratch behind the ears.
Am I doing that or?
Do you have a preference, Emily?
I don't have a preference. We'll give it a go, and if she needs a reset, we can always reset her. Good. If you want to do it, Jen, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
You want me to come around the other side? So she
You can
doesn't
come
see
right here. Totally fine. So it would be, you're walking up, stay. Good girl. Yes. And that's what we want to see. You can see the temptation is there. You truly are a stranger to her. Good girl.
I wanted her to look at me though.
You can pet her one more time for practice. It's great practice. So definitely okay to notice, but then we want that nice refocus back on handler.
Awesome.
And she does look at you, but she
girl.
quickly goes back to instructor Emily. I have this like relationship with her, and I'm gonna get the jackpot.
Georgia
with-
down. Very nice. So that's what we want to see, because things happen. Kids run up, chaos ensues. Having a dog that defaults to their handler is just so valuable if you have a working dog. She is, yeah, she's like velvet.
And then one of the last things we have is the drop leash and maintain control.
Okay.
Okay.
So at
Drop. I don't know if you can hear Marissa over there.
Yeah, so dropping leash and maintaining control. So we've kind of done it with a few exercises here. Again, we're really big about making sure we keep our dogs safe. We're following leash laws in public. It does happen though that a leash can be dropped from time to time, and part of this assessment is, does the dog maintain control? I don't want to drop the leash and have her run off. She's interested. I think we have a stroller or a cart over there.
Had a little girl.
A little girl.
Look at her like this, and she did so good.
That's excellent. So I am going to reward her for staying with me. Another task that many of our service dogs learn is to actually retrieve that leash and hand it to the handler. That's next up on George's curriculum to learn.
All right.
Good girl.
That.
Right.
checked all
Besides the
boxes, right?
separation, I don't know if you
Yeah,
want to do
there's
that,
one more
but
component that we will do with our students when they do this annually to recertify as a team that can work out in public, and it's supervised separation. So again, it's something that doesn't happen in normal day-to-day life with your service dog, but what we're looking for is if in an emergency situation, so there's paramedics involved, someone can hold the dog's leash and she doesn't act aggressively or fearful. She's able to maintain some composure even if I'm no longer the one holding onto her leash. With a student, we'll just talk about it for the purposes of this video, but you would actually take her out of sight for about a minute and then bring her back. And it's okay for the dog to look for their person. That's very normal. You know, where is my person that I normally spend time with? But we don't want any excessive whining, barking, jumping on the person. Again, it's just a good skill for a dog to have that means they can go all sorts of places and be a good representation of what a working dog is. Okay. Good girl. Excellent. Georgia, close. Good girl. All right, so there you have it. That is what we call a public access test. There's always different components of it, but it's more principle-based than rule-based. We're looking for these different criteria to make sure it's a safe working team. Depending on the skills that dog has learned, we're going to test those skills in a public setting as well. We'll expose them to children, other novel things during an assessment, and we're continuing to do that. So we'll do that before a dog goes home with their new person after a class or a home placement, and then annually when our alumni advisors go and travel to each of our working teams, they'll do this again.
Okay.
And it's not, we're looking for areas that we can provide support. So, you know, if she had gotten up when you went to pet her, it would be, okay, we've got an awesome training opportunity here. What can we do to work through that so that you feel comfortable and confident handling your dog?
Every time I go out with you guys, I'm just blown away about how everything you do is strategic.
It is, yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, but it ultimately creates really amazing dogs.
It does.
Like little Miss Georgia Peach down here.
Absolutely does. Well, thank you, Emily.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Megan. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. I know Georgia will.
Yes. You ready?
Good girl.
Okay, take a break. Good.